Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. We're on the test server. We're going to be trying out the new fusible mythical champion. So basically the first accessible champion that's going to exist for mythical level. We're going to be testing her out, see what she's all about on the test server. I still don't know what fuses into her to get it done. Okay, we're hearing whispers that it might be legendaries, but I don't know any detail yet. Maybe by the time this video goes out, the info will have dropped. I don't know. But we're on the test server here. They're doing us like a forewarning, I guess a bit of an entry into what she's all about. So let's just have a start here. Lady, MIKAGE. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong because I say everything wrong. That's got an Asian theme. Apologies. Apologies to all of the linguists out there. What we saying? Like the visual of this champion is super sweet. I really love it. I think it's absolutely awesome. Let's see what the alternative form looks like. So she's like transforms into the big spider. Look at the face. Look at the face. Bam! That is absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to see her actually on the battlefield because she is big. Look at that. Damn. Obviously, Raid knock it out of the park when it comes to visuals, and they are not, they're not underwhelming on this one. This is an absolutely brilliant visual. Good job, art team at Raid. Right, let's have a look through the skills then. We are going to be testing some damage. I'm going to test her in a few areas of the game as well today on the test server before she comes out. Let's check it out. On her like normal form, we've got, honestly, this normal form I think is brilliant. Like I think she's going to be top tier in this normal form. So she joins an ally, or an ally joins her from the Shadowkin with their A1. Yeah, so every time she A1s, an ally is A1ing with her if they're from Shadowkin. And that's pretty crazy good. Like, that's actually very, very solid. Also puts a shield out there onto someone with lowest HP, which is like a Duchess type of shield. The A2 is an AoE hit, decreases the duration of enemy buffs and all ally debuffs by a turn. Then increases the duration of enemy debuffs and all ally buffs by a turn. It's like the big swing, okay? It's absolutely brilliant as an A2 on a 3 turn as well. So good. And in the A3 is increase attack buff, increase crit damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. Then they do a big ally attack all together, the whole team, which is absolutely brilliant as well. That books to a 4 turn. Obviously, books for mythicals are very difficult to get. Yeah, so the cool thing about it, if you've got books, you can decide which form you will book. So this particular form's got 1, 2, 3, 4 potential books. If you land a book here, you probably stop. Yeah, because you don't, I don't know, we're going to test her damage, but you probably don't care too much about this damage. And all this damage really depends if she hits really hard, but I don't think she will. We're going to test it. And then the ignore resistance is a bonus, but honestly, with how scarce books are at the moment, I don't think you're really fussed about it. Obviously, the metamorph, that's what they've all got. Should change into other form. But then the passive here as well is good. So at the start of this champion's turn, removes all debuffs from the ally with the highest attack. So for me, this is a form that does really well in areas like Hydra, potentially in Arena, potentially in Fire Knight. Especially Fire Knight Hard. You've got this ally attack plus the A1 doing ally attacks. Clan Boss, you know, you've got ally attack, tons of damage, and you've also got buff extender, the enemy debuff extension as well. Like, there's a lot of good synergy here for Clan Boss. Honestly, the first form I think could be run almost anywhere. A bit like Cardiel. Can be run in basically any content and it will be brilliant. Like, I think it will be top tier. So let's check her second form out when she switches over. And by the way, I've not checked the base stats change. I don't think they do. All of her skills are damage. They're based off of attack, which is better. I prefer that they've done that. I've got a base speed as well, by the way. 115 base speed. Fastest in the game. Yeah, that's up there. Fastest in the game. The other base stats are good. So second form here is now more like a control form is what I would say. So A1, she's got a sleep. There's not many champions in the game that do 100% sleep on an A1. I think there's only like 2 other champions or something. So, yeah, for something like the Sand Devil, yeah, this is about as good a sleep ability as you can get. The trouble with her, though, she does have a bunch of turn meter stuff going on. So you think that should be good, but it's not necessarily good against Sand Devil because you'll start losing your HP. You know, you lose your max HP. But if you don't sleep, or irrelevant of the sleep, she's also doing a turn meter drop. So turn meter drop on areas like Finite, on areas like Dark Fae, Spider, anywhere. Like most places in the game, turn meter drop on an A1 is solid. So that's pretty good. A2 is a stun. So you've got here AoE stun on all enemies, and then a turn meter drop of 30%. Really good arena control ability. Yeah, this AoE stun is great. And then you've got stun. And then you've got increased accuracy for your team. Removes all buffs from enemies, and then puts weaken on enemies. So this is a really good arena ability. And then you've got the transform again. The passive here is at the start of this champion's turn, decreases turn meter of the enemy with the highest attack. So with bosses, you've only got one enemy, right? I wonder, I'm assuming Spider has got a higher attack than Spiderlings. I guess. We can have a quick look at that actually on the website. For those who haven't seen, by the way, Saf has done some extra magic today on hellhades.com. If you go to firstly, we've got a search bar. We've got a search bar at the top. How many people have been asking for that forever? If you go to any champion page now, you will see the new magic that has happened on our champion pages. So we've just changed the kind of flow of it up a little bit. You've got these quick links. If you just want to kind of fly down to a certain area of the abilities and stuff. Changed up the skill kind of section. We're going to have a new rating piece here, which is updated based on the way champions have kind of moved. The multipliers and that are all still in. All of the information is still there. It's just kind of more, I guess, visually appealing. I hope. I think we've got the skill icons in, etc. So Saf doing legendary work as ever. But anyway, let's have a quick look at Stages tool. Anyone, free user, can just come on and do this. Raid Stages tool basically will give you information about anything in the game. So if I wanted to look at a dungeon and then choose Spider, let's just go with Spider 20. So a Spider's attack 11,000, Spiderlings is 7,000. Yeah, so this hero will always drop the turn meter of the main Spider boss whenever she takes a turn. It's pretty cool, actually. But obviously, in other content like Dark Fae, yeah, any of the content really where there's a single enemy boss, you're going to get a turn meter drop going on. Obviously, that's not going to be great in somewhere like Bommel, unless you're trying to force bombs, or somewhere like, I don't know, Griffin, where you can get stunned and stuff. But generally, that is a cool mechanic to have. So this is probably one of the first mythical champions where both sets of skills are solid. I really like this first one as like an aggressive set, and then the second one is more like control. Yeah, so depending on what you're trying to do with bosses, it might be the first one where you actually do flip between the forms. And you're like, you know what? I've got my ally attack away. I'm going to flip form now and be the turn meter control champ. Yeah, and it might well work that way. So I kind of like that. I like that there's going to be some use for both forms, depending on what you want to do. So for the sake of being on the test server and stuff, I will book her out. But I would say Form 2, you get very little value unless she hits like an absolute freight train. Even then, like the books are not doing a lot. You get a bit of extra damage on A1. You get a cooldown on A3, which maybe that's pretty solid. And you get ignore resistance like across the board, which you may think is super valuable. I don't know if it is really. But for 6 books on Form 2, I would avoid using Form 2 at all for bookage. But yeah, anyway, let's get some damage build on and let's see what she's going to do. Get ready for raid maximum damage. Okay, here we go. So we are in full damage gear. We've stolen gear off of my Leorius. And we are up to 6.1k attack with 240% crit damage. Off of a base of 1200 attack, that's actually a lot. We've got 5 times multiplier on her attack here. So it's going to be solid. I've taken the damage masteries as you would expect. Helm Smasher, all the usual stuff. Let's give her a quick tester. She is Force Affinity. So I think we can go stage 20 like normal. Give it a good little pop. We've got some of our normal damage guys here. Don't need you, need you, need you. Throw her in and throw in our Arbiter. Okay, this is it. Literally no idea because we don't have any info on her yet. We don't know at all what's going to happen here in terms of damage numbers, which is quite cool. I prefer it this way in a way because it is literally, for me, first time knowing as well. Okay, so we've got 20% buff from Bad L, 21.5% buff from Gerptuk, drop defense and weaken everywhere, increase attack on us. Let's see what she's got on her A1. Also interested to see what these visuals are like. A1, Apothecary, what are you saying? 111k. It's weak. It's weak. Okay, A1 not so good. That's very weak. Okay, let's pump it up again. Okay, come on, do something better. A2, Silken Snare. The AoE hits. 150 was that? 150. I mean, honestly, it's not that high. But then it's doing, don't forget, it's doing so much more than just hitting, which is why I didn't think she was going to be the nuke anyway. Just want to see the visual on that again, actually. Without worrying about the damage. Visual's quite nice. There's loads going on in that skill, though. We're not expecting high damage there because of how much is going on. Let's just see what the A3 is doing. Is the A3 even a hit? I can't remember now. A3 is the... Oh, it's just the ally attack. Obviously, we get... Oh, maybe I should have done that first. We get some extra buffs. But either way, nothing about that form is doing high damage at all. So Form 1 is weak source for damage. Let's check out Form 2. And don't get me wrong, she's not meant to be a damage dealer in my eyes. So I'm actually kind of fine with that. One of the things, though, look at this. This is a thing which I think is a letdown of mythical heroes. I hope they change it. When she changes form, she uses a layer of buffs. See the way this has happened? So she's only got one turn of increased attack right now, and all the other buffs that have been laid on her. I think when they metamorphose, or metamorphosis, I don't know what the word is, but anyway, I think they should extend their buffs by one turn, so that, or before they do it, they extend, so they don't lose a load of the buffs. Anyway, A1 on this form then, the sleep ability. What we're saying about her, by the way, looking pretty cool. A1, 170, still not that high. Feel like we've got weak source damage on all forms here. Okay, let's flip into the spider. I do like that, though. That looks cool. So the AoE stun. Throws out the spiderling wave. Doesn't hit very hard, but obviously an AoE stun. Looks very cool. You got to give it that. The abilities are looking sweet. Shouldn't have worn the bandana for this one, though. It was a mistake. A3, the final one here. I don't even think this one hits. Cool thing about this one, it doesn't hit, which means that it can't weak hit. So you're always going to get your weaken away on enemies. That is it. There's no damage. So don't build her for damage. She doesn't really do any. Therefore, it means you can build her to actually activate her kit. So when we're considering like who should we pair her up with to get the absolute best use of the A1, so attacks an enemy with one random ally from Shadowkin faction. The ally joining the attack will use their default. So like who's got good A1s in the Shadowkin? There's a ton of the legendaries, honestly, that do. Lady Kimmy will do some nice like turn meter drops. You've got to watch out for someone like a ninja who will get turn meter gain. Mishinaki puts out burns. He would be brilliant for Hydra to get even additional chance to get that A1 out. Albeit he's already got like a 50-50 as to whether he's going to come or not anyway. Harima, if using Harima in Clan Boss, she's going to be delivering this crazy A1 more frequently. Who else did I think of? Genzin, if you're going to go against Fire Knight, you've got more chances of the triple hit A1, as well as the turn meter gain. Hyuku, another one who does insane damage against Clan Boss with the triple hit. Or is it a quad hit? But anyway, it's insane damage anyway. If she's using it more often, she could be doing crazy stuff. Yumiko, very good as well. There's loads, actually. There's loads of legendaries. And then in the epics, again, if you're doing a Clan Boss team with a Taradi like Ally Protect, more chances to get your decreased attack out there. If you're going against something like Fire Knight, Fenchi, with an additional chance to get the triple hits. Sashi's got an AoE, A1, decreased accuracy, which might be good for something like Hydra. So it really depends what you're up against. Wuji, I thought might be good, but her ability doesn't scale in the right way. Who else? Aboru for Hydra as well. Every time she does an A1, if there's enough debuffs out there, she will do an AoE on her A1 and it hits hard. So for Hydra, that could be super cool as well. Lots of options. I didn't really check the rares, but I don't think there's many good rares here anyway. But yeah, obviously, depends what you're building out, depends what you're trying to do, but there definitely could be some cool synergy stuff going on with her as well. Yeah, and I've got to say, it's a shame she doesn't have someone like Criodan the Blue in her faction, because against Fire Knight Hard, which we all know is really tough content, she would be very, very solid for it. But there's not anyone that's delivering this kind of like multiple hit freeze on their A1 like this dude could. So He really needs to switch faction to get some like crazy ability against one of the hardest bits of content in the game. Okay, so let's test her out then. So I feel like because she's her base is quick, we want her to be solid speed. We want her to get her control away when we're in that form. You can actually build her pretty similar. You can build her in a number of different ways, honestly. But I thought bolster set, she's going to be a support unit with some accuracy as well. Masteries, we've just gone for War Master and then basically support tree. And she's really out there to make other champions work. Okay, we're going to try some Hydra action. So I've left Lady MIKAGE here in her bolster gear, as I just shown you. So bolster doesn't really work for us on Hydra, but she's giving us a lot of speed and a lot of utility. I'm bringing in Aboru as my Shadowkin champion to hopefully do a lot of work. We've got block buffs here. We've got burns and stuff here. We've got Newt for damage. More debuffs here to try and get Aboru's A1 away. Hopefully a consistent provoker and some turn meter boost. So we're on against Brutal here, so it's no joke of an enemy. Plenty of debuffs out there. So we should find now, whenever we do our ally attack, Aboru hits everybody. So she's going to hit everyone with that A1. You just saw it there. She should have enough resistance. Maybe she doesn't. Christ, I got her like 400 resist. Maybe that's not enough. But I guess let's just see how effective her kit is in Form 1. In Form 2, obviously, it's not really great for Hydra. You would get increased accuracy for your team and that type of stuff. But mainly, Form 2, I think, doesn't work here. Form 1 is giving you like debuff growth. It's giving you buff growth for your team. It's giving you ally attacks. There's a lot more going on with Form 1. I don't know if I've got any sort of survivability in this team, honestly. I was just kind of throwing stuff together, and I've neglected any form of healing, which is not ideal. But you can see, this basically what I wanted to see was that A1 kicking off time and time again, which it is doing. But I think the problem we're going to have is just straight up being dead, which is not ideal. Goes that smack. Head of Wrath is eating us up. Head of Wrath spotted the weakness in the team. The lack of any form of survivability. Yeah, get those whacks out there. You're the man. That's such a cool skill. The ability to swing debuffs, buffs, everything in your favor is extremely cool on the A2, honestly. Here we go. Debuffs are out there. I mean, if I bought healing as well, this team would be absolutely killing it right now. What I'm going to do, obviously I'm going to be dead before long. In fact, I'm going to be dead straight away. Maybe that's just going to be it. I do have a Morley for some revives, but it's really not going to do much. I was just kind of like wondering where we are on damage. Like who's kicking out some of these hits. And Aboru is doing work. I mean, honestly, at 10 million, considering I've got nothing going on, let's just have a quick look. Yeah, Aboru, at this moment in time, is basically up there with the Newt and the Supreme Gaelic, mainly because of the additional damage we're getting kicking in from that ally attack ability, which is quite cool. So I think definitely there's some combos that can be done. I think Lady MIKAGE is going to be brilliant for Hydra, for sure. And I think other areas where she's going to be super strong, any sort of progression dungeon stuff, she's going to be really good. Yeah, she's just got so much in her kit. She's going to be great as a fusible champion. But Fire Knight, I think, is where people are really going to get more benefit. I think for Fire Knight, what I'm going to try here is just straight up throw it into my Fire Knight team. Do I get any benefit? I'm not getting any benefit of Shadowkin, which is a shame. There's no Shadowkins in my current team. So with that in mind, yeah, I guess this is not ideal for Fire Knight Hard. I don't think there's any Shadowkin in Fire Knight Hard that specifically does the job well. Maybe Genzin does, actually. Maybe Genzin is a good shout in terms of at least breaking the shield down. So maybe we'll try him in the mix and see if this Fire Knight Hard can do any work. Okay, we're going to try this then. So I've set it up so that Genzin here is just basically using his A2 across the waves, get the decreased defense out, and then do whatever he wants. MIKAGE is going to hold on to an ally attack until we get to the boss. So I'm hoping, I don't know if we've got enough freezes, honestly, to deal with the boss and keep turn meter down, but I'm definitely interested to see if this is a strat. You know, one thing I would say is this is Finite 6 hard, and you know it gets hard. Like Finite gets hard when you get past like stage 2 or so on hard difficulty. So there's not that many teams out there that do this well, and having another hero that can kind of get in the mix and give you options is going to be very cool. Obviously, I'm showing you high level stuff here. If you were fighting Finite 20, for example, then obviously it's much easier, and using her ally attack and kind of like team up abilities becomes way more effective as well. Getting through the waves pretty quick though, 44 seconds. We absolutely do not want this boss to hit us, because that will be a disaster. Lots of hits going out there. First ally attack goes in, slamming down most of the shield, all of the shield in fact. We'll then go in with a bit more turn meter drop with Newt's A1. Comes another ally attack, bit more turn meter drop. So I could use Newt's A3 a lot earlier than that, because obviously this is where the damage comes from. Now we've just got 2 champions that have got turn meter drop, Newt and Yakal. There it is. So this feels like it's going to work and be quite quick. At this point, you're kind of reliant on Newt either getting his A3 back soon, or we get another ally attack coming in from the lady. But Finite 6 hard, that's solid actually. That's beaten my best time I've ever done with previous teams. I don't think it's going to work on 10, but I will try it. But I do think this champion is going to be great for anyone that could pick her up, honestly. I do think she's going to be useful in a lot of content as, you know, probably the most effective mythical champion that exists at the moment. I'm not shilling because I'm not asking you to buy anything. I just feel like actually for our first fusible mythical cool champion, it just depends what it needs. Yeah, if it's going to be 4 legendaries to get this champion, then damn, that's a lot to give up for the average player. Like 4 legendaries is a ton to give up for any player. So it really depends how they set this up. Through the waves, super silky here. Onto the boss. Obviously the boss at hard is fast. Do we even have enough speed to get into the mix here? Start breaking it down. More shield to deal with as well. I think we get stuff. Do we? No, we do get another chance of dropping some turn meter. Dropped some. Yeah, not enough. Not enough. But it's, I think with some work, I could probably make it happen. But yeah, maybe Genzin then isn't the best, and maybe you end up having to bring in someone else, which then means the ally attack is less useful because you're not using the A1 plus her ally attack. But, you know, another ally attacker that brings all of the team in, they're actually quite rare to get. So, yeah, anyway, there you go. That's going to be an initial look. I know that YST is going to drop a video on Clan Boss, and that's well worth a look as well, because he's doing some serious work with her on Clan Boss. But yeah, I think she's going to be useful to a lot of players. Lady MIKAGE, let me know what you think down below. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you later.